Hey, all right. I'm glad you are back. Um, Let me just finish up some paperwork real quick and I will be right with you. Okay, let's see. How about we start with how your week was? Um, I think that's like pretty important to gauge where we should start. Even though again that's completely up to you, but I did text you. I don't remember what day it was, but I didn't hear from you, so I kind of got worried. So I'm glad to see you back today. So yes, how was your week? My week was good overall, from what I can remember. Um, yeah, like it was good overall. Um, Honestly, I have like for the past week, 2 weeks, I've been really working on controlling my drinking. Um, and so, with that being said, I don't know. It's kind of like a blur sometimes, which I don't feel like that's good or bad. I'm just saying, like, this past couple weeks has been more good than bad. But, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, I guess. It's just a blur. So, but I know it's been more good than bad, if that makes sense. Oh, okay. Gotcha. So, I know I had texted, the text that I sent was like kind of gonna be working from backwards. I mean, working from like present to back. But, now that you brought that up, that kind of takes us in a different direction, if that's okay with you. All right, good. So, when did you start drinking a lot? Or let's start here. So do you feel like you drink a lot, and if so, why? Honest, I would say that I'm working on not drinking a lot because yes, I was drinking a lot. Um and when I say that, like, it was like there was times where I could go through a whole bottle in like on a heavy day. um I could drink the whole bottle, no problem, by myself. um on a, I guess, medium day, um it'll be like maybe like a day and a half to maybe 2 days, and that's like it's a strong maybe. um so I mean, it just like that became my thing. It's just drinking. And then I honestly don't know exactly when it started. I used to just drink just to like come out of like my writer's block. So I felt like I should be writing, at certain times. And so it would start with, a few shots just to like get the creativity flowing a little better. And then over time, it started to get to the point where You know, like I said, it just became my thing. Especially since I don't go out anymore. I really don't hang around people. Like I think I tried to stop one time last year. Yeah, one time last year. Or it was right before it got heavy. And I was already going through some stuff. And then I had a friend who her boyfriend died like within hours. So like around that time it was two of us, and so we would just hang out, eat, drink, you know. And then from there, like I said, that's when it got more heavy. Like before then it wasn't that heavy. But after then it got heavy to the point where I was spending about I say between 100 and 200 every week. And I always get 2 bottles. So yeah. But it started before that. It just didn't get heavy until kind of like around that time or whatever. Maybe shortly after. All right, got you. So, I guess. Well, let's ask this question because you didn't specify. So I just want to I guess, have an idea, because you know, occasional drinking here and there is not bad. But if you were spending 100 to 200 a week, like, yeah, it's kind of bad. But I'm glad you're working on that now. What exactly were you drinking? Like wine, hard liquor, you know, wine coolers? Like, what exactly do you mean by, you know, when you were buying bottles? Um, there were times that I did like try to wean myself off of hard liquor. So yeah, there were some wine bottles involved, but I think at that point I had already been doing hard liquor for, you know, too long. And it was pretty much just anything I wanted to try. Like when you don't have to worry about like who's drinking with you, whatever. Like I was drinking by myself most of the time. You know, unless I was with my friend or, you know, with my brothers. But it would be vodka, whiskey, rum, really wasn't big on wine coolers. I think that's it. I mean, and all the different categories you can place those under. Like with the rum, you got light rum, dark rum, spiced rum, flavored rum, non-flavored rum. I mean, vodka, of course, there's a lot of flavors. Whiskey, cinnamon, freaking honey. So yeah, I mean, you name it, I have tried some form of it when it comes to liquor, to be honest. Okay, got it. I mean, I think that you're definitely in the right place, especially for recovery and stuff with that. I've heard people say don't stop cold turkey, but everybody's different. I don't want to encourage you to continue drinking like you were. But I will say, once you actually start the process and being able to go, days without it, you might even find that you don't like it like you thought you did. Yeah, so as far as that goes, do you feel like like do you really feel like the writer's block was the main reason why you started drinking? Because oftentimes we don't really think about, you know what I'm saying, things prior to that. And once again, I don't know when you started drinking specifically. We're just talking about the hardcore drinking. Have you ever experienced those type of, I guess, urges before? Um, Probably like when I was going out, yeah. But that was more of like that was like a weekend thing. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I would go out on the weekends and, drink with the people I was kicking it with. And then, I mean, like, that would be it. I didn't really, like, start drinking until, like, late 20s, early 30s. More, anyway. But yeah, it used to just be a weekend thing. Okay, so can you remember, like, if you can remember, late 20s, well, I'll say mid to late 20s, was there anything specific going on that even made you feel like, hey, things would be better if I could just have a drink? Like, can you pinpoint anything that was going on specifically around that time? Yeah. So I had my first child early 20s, and then I literally went from one child to 3 children. And then some years later, 4 children. So I kind of, like, I started to, okay, so I didn't really believe in postpartum depression at first until I started watching, certain shows and stuff like that. So like when I started to feel certain ways, especially after my last child, or my youngest child, I'll say, that's when I started to ask questions. So, like, I asked the doctor questions. And then I also had saw somewhere that postpartum can last for up to 5 years. So that really made me want to ask questions. So I talked to my doctor and asked her, do they have something for it? She said, yeah. So I looked it up, did some research, and I decided that it wasn't for me. Like, so then I asked her, before she gave me the prescription, I asked her, was it equivalent to a glass of wine? And she said, honestly, yeah. So it started there. And I wasn't, between my first and second pregnancies, I wasn't drinking that much. Like, it was just like a sparing thing. Like, I have a drink here and there. But then after finding out that information, it just became like, okay, they didn't have very big bottles of wine in my eyes. So it's like if I'm finishing off a bottle of wine and it's like I'm not really feeling nothing, then I might as well just, start having like a shot or two and then a glass of wine. And then, yeah, from there, I enjoyed being calm. I enjoyed not stressing. And I enjoyed being able to express myself without, without myself holding me back. It made me like, I don't know. I mean, in a weird way, it made me feel like my true self. You know what I'm saying? Not getting drunk per se, but just like the worry-free mindset, I guess you could say. Okay, so there it is. So you would use it as a coping mechanism. To be honest, I understand that it makes you calm. I understand that, sometimes we deserve a drink, you know. However, to the extent that it is now, I really do want you to work on not drinking as much, if at all. And it's something that we can talk about as far as how to go about that as well. So yeah, I will honestly say, I think that's a lot. We kind of have touched on a lot as it pertains to that part, which, like I said, it was a completely different direction than I planned on going initially. But I'm glad that we were able to touch on that because that's going to play a big role. So with that being said, we can wrap it up by, let's flip it real quick. Has drinking ever proved to be an issue for you as far as dealing with people, or you being functional and able to still get things done? Honestly, the main issues that I've had with drinking or when I've drank. They've been when I'm in relationships. Because I'm a pretty, well, like over the years, I've learned to be a good communicator just because that's something that I didn't grow up with, you know. Like, yeah, I had teachers and stuff like that that would talk to me, and sometimes I would, interact with them, and sometimes I wouldn't. Like, I wouldn't get in depth. But I noticed that the drinking really wasn't an issue dealing with other people unless I was in a relationship, because there would be times where I would drink by myself, you know. And I'm chilling, you know what I'm saying? I can have me drinks. I can turn on my own music. I didn't have to go to the club. I could watch, TV, watch whatever, and it would be like that much more funny. Or I would, tune in a little bit more and like get some dope ass information. But when it came to the people that I've dealt with, and I'd be drinking, like a lot of those people wouldn't want to talk, until drinks were involved. So it's like if I asked, oh, what's wrong with you, or whatever simple question. I mean, it's simple to me. It would always be, pure silence. And then the drinks start coming, and then it's like, oh, well, remember when you asked me what was wrong? And I'm like at that point, I'm already irritated. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in chill mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not out at the club where it's good times. It's like you want to talk about feelings while we're drinking, and I wouldn't want to deal with it. I wouldn't want to, like I said, I drink by myself. So I'm able to think, of a lot, and, write some things down or come up with business plans and have even doper conversations. But when it came to like relationships, it was just like, here we go again. Like, how people say, oh, you're blowing my high. Like, I'm not a smoker. So, well, I mean, I do vape pens, but I'm not a smoker. I don't smoke marijuana. So, to me, it was just like, I don't have time to hear you right now. You know what I'm saying? But then also over time, that became a tool that I used, because I would talk slower and I wouldn't talk out of anger. I would be coming from a place of, I've processed my thoughts, so let's talk. And I mean, it just, sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. But I think for the fact that I was already irritated that people wanted to talk to me after having drinks, I wasn't with it. Like, I really just didn't appreciate. I feel like it was interrupting the time that I did have to just like be in another level of chill mode. Like, it really bothered me. And it's still like, I still don't want to talk. Like, I'll talk to my brothers when we've been drinking, but that's because that's my siblings. Like, that's not people that I'm being intimate with physically. So it's like, at that point, it's just like, I don't want to deal with what you have going on, because I asked about that like days ago, or yesterday, or earlier today. I think that's mostly been it. There have been times where I have stayed up like extra late just drinking and in my zone, and planned on cooking the next day. But outside of that, like, yeah, I've been able to take care of responsibilities. Like, I've been able to still, not that you should drive, but I've been able to, like, there's times where people didn't even know I had been drinking. So, I mean, the biggest thing would be the relationships. Like, that's the main issue when it comes to over the years and drinking and problems that came with it. Okay. Well, I feel like we've started to make huge progress. I feel like it's definitely going to be a journey. But at the same time, like, I can compare it to the first meeting that we had initially. Like, you're a little bit more excited. You know, you seem to be really open to changing and healing, dare I say. So with that being said, I'm going to check in with you in a couple of days, and I want you to start thinking about what is living life to the fullest. What does that mean to you? And I also want you to, if it's not too much, I want you to maybe like start keeping track of how many drinks you have. Or if you're just going to quit altogether. I definitely would like to know that. I could look into some resources for you or recommend some people to you so that you don't feel like you're alone, if that's all right. Yeah, that's fine. And yes, I am. I mean, like I said, I'm excited, like, from day one, because I'm making this decision for myself and my children. So I have been aware of those thoughts since the last time we met. But yeah, I can definitely do that, and I will be looking forward to our next session. Okay, well, once again, thank you for coming in, and I definitely need you to keep in touch with me throughout the week. If you're feeling any kind of way, if some other stuff starts to come up, you have questions, you need to come in an extra day a week, just let me know and we'll gauge it based off of how you're feeling. You have my number, my email. If I'm out of the office, you have my cell phone number. So I need you to do your part so that I can do my part in assisting you. But until next time, have a good weekend, and I will see you next week.